Hello, welcome to our every week issue of Period Global School Sessions. So today we are going to talk about how to improve your IELTS skills, and I hope that at the end of this video you're going to get some useful advice on how not to give up and continue learning English. So first of all, I would like to say that the very important thing is to listen to English every day. It really makes a miracle. So the listening test is designed to test how well you understand spoken English. So the most obvious way to improve your listening skills is to listen to lots of English being spoken. But what should you listen to? So you will find everything you need for free online. Whether you can't spare just a few minutes to listen or have an hour of study time planned, there is a wealth of material that you can access in seconds. Listen to a range of things. The test will include two monologues, one person speaking, and two conversations. So you must practice listening to both. So online news channels are ideal because news broadcasts contain a good mix of reports and conversations for all parts of the IELTS exam. I recommend BBC News as the best news channel to tune in. However, for the listening test, listen to the news from a range of English-speaking countries, like from the UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, so you get used to understand the different accents. So one more important thing is listening to podcasts, because they're also an excellent resource. They can last for at least 2 minutes, up to, I think, 1 hour or even more. They also cover a vast range of topics, so you will easily find something interesting to listen to in the time you have available. The best platform to search for podcasts is Stitcher. You can see the sign of it here. One more thing is quite interesting and which I frequently recommend to my students. It's TED Talks. These are online lectures, often very short, and they are perfect for practicing listening to monologues. Again, the range of topics is huge, so you can just put in your search engine the word TED Talks topics, and you can also watch TED on YouTube, as far as I know. Then there is YouTube itself with millions of videos from serious topics to light entertainment. It's an invaluable resource, I would say, to help you prepare for your exam. One more thing, it's online radio. It's the best source for interviews, so tune in to have a good station, to find a good station when you want to practice listening to conversations. If you listen to something every day, ideally for at least 10 to 15 minutes, your listening skills will gradually improve. Now let's look at some more ideas on how to improve your listening skills. So the next thing, it's quite necessary and sometimes a little bit shocking for candidates of IELTS exam, is that so they obviously will be apprehended when they will come to know that an actual test day, they will hear the recording only for one time. So if you just hear instead of listening to the audio, then there is a high chance that you will miss answers of a lot of questions in the actual test day, even if you practiced a lot. So you listen only once. Like real life conversation, you will have only one chance to listen, except the fact that in real life the other person might repeat what he or she said, but in IELTS it will be only played once. So do not just hear, but listen to the audio. Your attention makes the difference when you just hear. You may or may not care about the information, but when you listen, you do it with proper attention so that you can extract information. So here are some of the few tips for doing well with just one listening. So listen once when you do the practice question. You should get used to it. One more thing is that you have to not just read and listen, but before you start listening to the audio, underline the key words on the question sheet, like you can see it on the slide. Prepare to listen for those exact words or their synonyms when the audio is played. Practice different types of listening situations, like lectures, phone conversation, chatting. So highlight some words, try to guess what part of speech this may be, how many words there should be, then it will be much easier for you to understand what answers are expected from you. So if you miss one, move on. Just move on, because you don't have to panic. You have just move on. If you miss two, there are still 38 questions to be answered correctly, which will be which will bring you a band 8 in the listening section. Obviously, there will be some challenging questions for the listening part, and those will be randomly and clever distributed in order to distract the test takers. A successful candidate will be one who will not let a difficult question make him or her distracted during the audio, and as we lead to miss one or multiple questions. So during the test, if you realize that you just missed one question, then don't panic, move on so that you can catch up the next question. Don't let the question that you just missed to have a domino effect on your general performance on the rest of the part of the listening section. The next thing is following your heart. It's quite philosophical advice, I would say. So when practicing, choose interesting topics, interesting just for you. If you love professional tennis, then listen to podcasts about professional tennis. If you love Roman history, then listen to the stories about Roman history. It's well known that we listen better to things we want to or enjoy hearing. If you really want to motivate yourself and get the best out of each and every listening practice, try this approach. You might even have fun doing it. One more thing, it's working with audio scripts is quite necessary. Many examiners advise this thing to do. So when choosing or searching for practice tests, try and find ones with scripts. Scripts are the word-for-word written text, as you can see it on the slide. It's the text of the audio you listen to. There are many activities you can do with the scripts. So, for example, there is accuracy and check. I just blocked it with my face on the screen. First, take notes with those scripts. After that, compare your notes to the scripts. Check for accuracy, spelling, and misunderstanding. The second one is reading aloud. After you read aloud, listen to the audio. How accurate were you? Did you sound the same as the speakers? And then the last one, it's listen and read along. So follow the text while you listen. This will make strong connections for you in respect to pronunciation, understanding keywords. Notice how the keywords are pronounced clearly and louder. And my personal advice is to pay much attention to some words which you might not understand, or the keywords which were the answers to the test, because this will help you to broaden your vocabulary, and at the same level you will understand why this answer was the correct one, because you have to read the sentence before the correct answer, the sentence after it, and this will definitely improve your listening skills. Okay, so we're moving on to one more necessary item. It's synonyms and paraphrasing. So have you tried an IELTS preparation class? If yes, you probably know that synonyms are important in all parts of the exam. In the speaking and writing exam, you have to show that you know how to use synonyms. In the reading and listening exams, many of the questions use synonyms in the question. So for example, listening text says Duchess, who is the only king's daughter. I have highlighted it on the screen. And listening test question asks, so who is the princess? You see that the princess is also highlighted. So the answer is Duchess, Duke, and not given. So the king's daughter, it's the same as the princess. So these words are synonyms. One more thing is paraphrasing. So, for instance, the park was first built in 1978, and there is one more expression saying that the park itself wasn't developed until 1979. So, first built in and wasn't developed until. These are paraphrasing in the exam. One more example, it's like the Hurricane roller coaster is tall and made of wood. And the paraphrased thing which you might hear in the audio sounds like it's the highest wooden roller coaster in the country. So tall and made of wood. was paraphrased to the highest wooden roller coaster in the country. So do this for a few sentences each day, and your paraphrasing skills will steadily improve. The next thing which I would like to mention for you, it's checking. So check it twice, be precise. Little mistakes can count big. A few silly mistakes can be the difference between scoring a 5.5 and a 6. The following are just a few examples of how small errors can cost you. So you see on the screen that the test taker's answer was cat, but the correct answer was cats. So the answer was plural, not singular. That was a mistake. It counts 0. Then the test taker's answer was 30, but the correct one was $30. No unit given. French was misspelled with A, as it had to be written like French with E. It's spelling mistake. And one more mistake, it's he went to the restaurant instead of restaurant. So the answer sheet said write no more than one word, for instance. So this also counts 0. One more philosophical advice is thinking in English. Many language experts agree about one key rule: thinking in specific language helps you learn that language. Many students of English often try and translate everything in their heads. Don't do this. Translating has two main problems. First, it's slower. Second, you remember your language and forget the English. On the listening exam, you won't have time to translate. Also, you will have to remember key English words. So when you're practicing English, think in English. One more thing is practicing wisely and reflecting on your mistakes. So completing and correcting practice papers is very important and difficult process. However, it's important that you don't simply complete paper after paper, because listening is a skill that needs improving. Testing yourself repeatedly will never improve your skill set. And more importantly, it's really boring. I hope you agree with me. So I've already mentioned how important it's to invest time on a consistent basis. So realistically, it's very unlikely that you will be able to focus on practice tests when it bores the pants of you. When you think of something as a chore, it will be a chore. Furthermore, it's important that the time you invest in practicing is not wasted. As such, you need to make sure you use authentic tests created by the same bodies that try the IELTS exam. Otherwise, the material you practice will not match the format of the exam, giving you unrealistic expectation. And remember, practice paper should be challenging, because the IELTS exam is challenging. If you don't find practice papers difficult, you probably aren't practicing wisely. Make sure to complete your practice papers under the same time conditions that you will be under in the exam. This will allow you to improve your time management skills, remove a massive source of stress for many IELTS test takers. When marking your completed papers, you should pay extra attention to your spelling. Be harsh and be honest. The whole point of completing practice papers is to give you a presentation of your exam skills. And by marking leniently, your score will not be accurate, because an IELTS examiner will never be lenient when marking your paper. Instead, they will follow this. So reflecting, which I mentioned here, reflecting on your mistakes is more important than reflecting on your strengths, because you can learn much more from them. What's the easiest way of learning from your weaknesses? Recording them. So what I mean is, you have to take a notebook and a pen and make it a part of your routine to write down words that you consistently misspell, mispronounce, or mishear. By noting this down, you can easily view patterns in your weaknesses and gain a better understanding of the mistakes that are lowering your marks. The next thing is understanding connected speech. So this is something the most students struggle with to some degree or another. Connected speech is when words and sounds run into each other, making it difficult for a non-native speaker to understand what is being said. In these examples, you can see the words being spoken followed by how they might sound by the listener. So what are you going to do? What are you gonna do? Or I'm going to read a book. I'm gonna read a book. Come on, let's go to the park. Come on, let's gather the park. I have to do my homework first. I've done homework first. there is no easy way to overcome the challenge of connected speech apart from listening to lots of native speakers speaking at normal rate. Podcasts are ideal for this, as you can pause them and listen to confusing sentences over and over again until you fully understand what's been said. You'll gradually become familiar with the way words link together and find it easier to comprehend fast-paced speech. Doing this regularly will improve your listening skills considerably. Well, one more thing, it's practicing prediction. So being able to predict what you might hear in the recording and what will be said next during the talk or conversation will greatly help you to understand the audio and identify the information needed for the answers. So this is a skill that's easy to practice. First, select something to listen to from one of many resources which we have listed above. An additional resource that I would recommend for practicing prediction is TED-Ed videos. They have several multiple choice and open-ended questions included on their page, which enable you to practice listening out for specific information as you will have to do in the listening test. So before you start the video, read the title and predict some related ideas that might be included in the recording. Then as you listen, pause the audio every now and then and predict how you think the topic will develop in the next few sentences. And of course, try to identify the answers to the questions. So I have picked up one picture from the real exam. You can see there are 8 gaps. Each of them has some specific hints, I would say. So the first one is name, Jacob, and probably we have to write the surname of this person. Address to be collected from. So we see there is college, downloads road, and I guess we have to write the name of the college here. Town, Bristol, number 3 postcode. You know what is postcode, and you know that it has to be not only some numbers but also some capital letters. There is a size of the container which has the length, width, and height. So you have to write some numbers probably there, as it was given in the example. Contents, gaps numbers 6 and 7, so close. And then there should be probably some other things to be written. And total estimated value, you see that there is the sign of pound, so probably there should be a number. And so I have to tell you some final words. You cannot improve overnight or within some 7 days if your listening skill is poor. So practice, practice, and only practice. Also get accustomed to the various types of questions and instructions which will appear in the real exam. Rather than listening to 10 hours of podcasts in a single day or two, spare 15 or 20 minutes, but each day, for listening to podcasts on different topics, listen to radio, listen to news, and practice a set of listening questions daily from the real test. Slowly but surely, your listening skills will be improved. For more advice on practicing wisely, you should go and visit our website, вперед.global. Keep calm and study English. See you soon. Goodbye.